waiting to, and uh, I'm gonna try to stay here this time. They have to stay out with it, but they want me. That boy running that outfit wants me to come, but I told this boss I'd be better staying here. I'm tired from this branding, and then it's getting harder for me to make it in a teepee. And
I can.
but I guess we'll probably finish up this week, and then they'll start up there in the next week or 10 days. Take them 2 or 3 weeks and get it done.
Well, good. How's the body holding up?
How?
How's the body holding up? Battle and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm doing good in that department. I do get pretty tired before the days when we're branding, and especially if I usually run the horns. I used to rope all the time, but then I still rope some, but my old arm's not very good, and I can't rope very many, and I quit. But I get tired just running backwards and forth to caves with the horns. But they uh, they do all the flanking and everything.
yeah. Well, that's good. You're probably earned your stripes at
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I've done my part of the flanking, I guess, but uh, I'm hoping to just finish out the works and then get back to just riding with that general ranch work from now till we wane the caves is just 90% of my stuff's just prowling, checking windmills and pipelines and gathering bulls and stuff like that.
Well, a day of horseback is.
Yeah, I know it. It sure does. Just jogging around and where you're not any pressure on you, and but uh,
Still kind of feel free.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That I've read one time that Abe Lincoln said the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a man.
Oh, I
And
think that's. My dad always said that sweat lubricates the brain, and that goes to the land horse.
yeah, yeah, well, that's right. Uh, where are you at?
I'm at home here today in western Nevada. We're about an hour south of.
Oh yeah, south of Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, we're kind of high desert valley. A lot of.
How far? How far north of Elko is that?
Well, we're I think we're a little bit south of Elko. We're about 6 hours west of.
Oh, y'all are south of Elko.
Yeah, south and west. So we're
Well, there.
about an hour and a half south. We're only about 20 miles from the.
Yeah. Well, we had a ranch for 5 years there at Elko, and I went out there 3 times and stayed a while, and I liked it. Enjoyed the country out there.
Well, it's big open country.
Yeah, we had a good man running it for us and working there that didn't mind camping out or making horse tracks. And so he put in a lot of miles there. I think he leased the ranch when we left, so for himself. So I guess he's still there.
Oh, I would imagine. It doesn't like doesn't seem like a lot of people in the area once I drop.
Yeah,
It sucks people.
yeah, it's a good deal. But
Yeah, did you ever run into Waddy Mitchell when you were up in that
who?
Waddy Mitchell?
No, I haven't. Uh, is he the?
Cowboy poet.
Yeah, I've met him. One time I was at the Golden Spur Awards in Lubbock,
Oh,
and he
okay.
was one of the entertainers there. And I did meet him. I just shook hands and talked to him. I don't know that he'd remember me. He's with that Western singer at Dawn, something that,
Oh, like Don Edwards.
yeah, Don Edwards and
Yeah.
him and some people there. But I did visit with him a few minutes there with them over in the corner. And yeah, yeah, he's pretty successful in what he's done on that.
Yeah, he really is. He
Yeah, man, he kind of helped make that thing what it is. But
yeah, I understand. I visit.
yeah,
I don't know. Kind of a big.
I
Uh,
guess he punched a lot of cows before he got to doing that, So
yeah, he
he,
grew up miles phone. He's miles phone. It was miles to dirt road. Long ways out there.
yeah, there's a lot of that country out there like that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, pretty.
it don't that that don't hurt anything if you've got a living and a place to work and play. Why you don't need any of that other stuff. And I'm way behind on all the men here I'm the only man here that's got a flip phone, and all of them have got a smartphone, and they text my daughter. She calls me and tells me I'm going to send so and so a text about you or something. But uh, I just use the phone. I answer the phone, make calls and get calls, and use the directory, and that's all. I don't take pictures or none of that stuff with it. But my daughter tells me she knows that I could learn do that stuff because she said you was a brand inspector and worked for Stag Traveled, and you was a foreman of a ranch with 30 employees, and I know you can learn to put numbers in your phone if you wanted to, but I haven't. So
Yeah, he just making a point not.
I'm
That
at a
that's
I'm
all
at
right.
a stage, where the year, if I was a young feller, why I'd have to learn that stuff. But I'm coming up on 89, and I don't I don't go anywhere. I stay here for 3 and 4 months at a time. If I need something, I tell some of these boys' wives, and if they go to town, they get it for me. And I just stay here. And the ranch is in the process of being sold, and everybody's wondering because it's been here 130 years and
Hmm.
how it'll be. And we've never have been told anything, but I asked the boss the other day why we was keeping the dry cows. We usually ship them when we get a load or two. And he said that them people buying it were buying the tally like we had it, and we can't sell anything till that deal's closed. And so, uh, and they have told me that they don't think I'll have to worry. They think that you'll be able to just stay there where I've got a little bunkhouse apartment that the owner, Miss Ann, that owned the ranch for so many years, built for me when my wife passed away, and pretty comfortable little deal here. But they the manager told me that he said I think the people buying it are aware of you and that you'll just go right on. But I haven't been told that, and I would understand if they wanted to get rid of me because there ain't much a 89-year-old man can do for a ranch. But I'm anxious. I think we'll know within the next month
Okay. Well,
who's buying. We've never been told who's buying it or what's taking place, but they just tell us to go right on. We're just operating like we've been operating, but uh, we'll we'll probably get some information in the next month or so and tell us something. But I'd like to just, Ann had told me I could stay live here, and whether I worked or not, can die here at this little bunkhouse apartment. And I like to be here. I could go to town and rent a place. I'm pretty well off. I told Ann one time she had made me rich, and she just chuckled because I think she is thinking of her terms of rich and of mine. But I would be comfortable to go to town and get it. But like I told my daughter, I can sit on the porch here if I'm not working and see them bring the horses in of the morning, and them kind of things has meant a lot to my life.
yeah, and you can't see.
No,
I was gonna say might not be a whole. I don't know any year old a life size cardboard
well,
cutout of
a
themselves.
lot of the guys tell me that I'm going just like in the morning. I'll catch a horse before daylight, and we're going around the pasture and brand and cut the drives out and spray the cows and turn them loose. And I'll go with them all the way. Make the drive. They usually give me the short side of them drives, and I don't have to go around the outside. And I just run the arms or rope a few is all I do when we get them together and cut the drives. I can cut the drives and stuff, but and we'll got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I told my daughter this evening. She calls every evening to check on me. I told her that used to that branding was my favorite time of the year when we was branding, but now I just like to get through and get back to doing just general ranch work, checking windmills and riding pipelines, and
Yeah.
because that we get later start, I can go over and eat and go down to the barn, catch a horse, and not in a tizzy. And now we're catching, saddling them before we eat, and then eating, and where they're ready to go when we get through eating. And it's just a different deal. But if I can survive 3 more days, I've got it and made another one. So
Oh, good deal. I'm glad to hear. You know, everybody that has heard our conversation, they just and likes to know doing all right.
they've got in the 4-6 supply house down here. They've got a full size cutout of me standing there holding. It looks just like me. If I walk in there, I'd think it's me standing there. But people have their picture made with it all the time, every day there. And uh, they sent me a picture of me and a girl the other day. They had this silhouette, took it to Fort Worth and had it in store down there during the deal. And they uh, sent a picture to me of me and a good looking girl with their arms around each other standing in a nice living room with a fireplace behind. And I was telling one of the ladies there at the store, I said, I don't even remember that house or being in that place. And they said, you wasn't. It is just the cutout. So
That's you're definitely the only 89-year-old man that has one of as far as I can tell. Definitely the
yeah,
only 89 cowboy.
I have been very fortunate to because Tom Morehouse, he's a legend of a cowboy in this country,
Mm.
and they own a ranch, and he's really been a good cowboy and a good bronc rider and a good roper, and he's about 75 now, but he's having to stay in some and having some trouble and can't go with them every day. And but his son is day working for us, and his son told me we rounded a big pasture the other day and pinned that, put them in a trap, and had 450 cows, and we come in, ate dinner, and changed horses, and went. We usually brand them the next day, but it was looking like it was going to rain, and we knew that trap wouldn't hold them very good, and we'd have to turn them out and re-round the pasture. So we went back after dinner and branded over 400 Ks that evening, sprayed them, cut the dries, and turned them out, and got back in here about 6. Well, that boy that helps us said that his dad wanted to know if Boots stayed all day, and he said, yeah, he trotted in with us that evening, but I just barely did. And
Barely.
yeah,
I,
but
it's good.
well, I appreciate you saying that. I don't know, it's not anything I've done that would have that to have good health. I can still, ride and rope and stuff that no problem, and it don't hurt me a bit to ride a horse. I don't hurt or pain or anything, and ride one just like tomorrow. That'll be a pretty long drive. We'll round them things, throw them up there, and cut the dries, and then pin them. And then we strip the cows out and brand the calves. I've worked most of my life where we didn't strip. I worked for the Matadors and the J.A.'s and Wagners 30 years, them 3 places, and we never stripped the cows off. We just branded calves with the cows in them. Because about half the time back then we branded outside, and you couldn't strip them anyway. We used to cut herd bulls out once in a while and run them off when they get to fighting in the herd. But here we strip them 90 something percent of the time. Now we're going to brand a bunch day after tomorrow that there's not a krail there close, and we can throw them up there in a corner and just a little bunch and rope the calves out of them out stripping the cows, and we'll do that. But we don't do but 1 or 2 bunches a year like that here. They strip them all the time.
Yeah. I had a couple guys wonder. I assume you had to figure out how to shoot.
What is that now? I didn't understand you.
I had some folks wondering. You had to learn how to shoot your own horses on those, right?
Oh yeah, everybody had to shoe their own. And the boys shoe their own here, but the ranch pays for somebody to shoe mine. If one of the boys is getting 30 or 40 extra for shoeing a horse, they pay him shoe mine because I can't shoe. I can't even put the shoe on. The last time I put one on here 6 or 7 years ago, I was 82 or 3, and a lost shoe. I was out there in Montana, and we was at the wagon. And I went back down there that evening after we got in. It was dark, and put one on him. And the boss asked me when I got back, "Where you been?" And I said, "I went down there and tacked a shoe on that horse." Well, he said, "I don't want you to do that anymore. I don't want an 80-year-old man down there in the dark shoeing a horse." And so, but we have a horse shoer professional that comes here. We got this big race barn over here with several hundred mares, and we got 25 studs there. and that horseshoer comes every week and works on that stuff, and they let him shoe my saddle horses. And I just take them over there, and he shoes them, and I don't have to touch them. But they tell the boys if they're 50ish and younger, well, they have to shoe them themselves. And but it helps out because it's I can. But we used to everybody shoe their own horses out there in Arizona. You have to shoe every horse, even that old pet horse the kids ride around the house. You've got to shoe him, and they some of those outfits will furnish a few rasps, but everybody's got his own. Like here, we've got 4 or 5 good shoeing outfits that belong to the ranch. But in that country, nearly every cowpuncher has got his own shoeing outfit that rolls up in a little tarp deal, kind of like a bedroll, and he's got his shoes. But I've got a joke I tell that this kid out there in Arizona shoeing a horse, and he slapped the horse with a rasp, and the ranch was furnishing the rasp, And that old man standing there said, "Son, you better be careful. I fired a man 20 years ago for hitting a horse with a rasp." That kid said, "Yeah, it's probably the same rasp." Evidently, they needed a new one.
Yeah, it's funny. I imagine they got some tough feet out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. But the horses are easy to shoe out there. I mean, they don't get big, and you have to cut off big batches. 90% of them horses come in with their feet wore off to where you can rasp them off and shoe him without doing a bunch of work before you nail them on.
Yeah, it's pretty tough ground.
Yeah, they a lot of rocks that keeps them work thinned down, to where they can. But they have to shoe it like the OROs there. I've seen them catching horses out of a rope crowd, and that boy running the wagon just lead a horse out with a shoe popping. He might tell that boy, "You better tighten that up before we leave. If he loses it, he'll be feeling sorry for himself before we get back."
Oh yeah.
And so, but we don't have to. Some of the boys here ride some of their horses without shoeing them. They'll keep some shod because we got some rocks and stuff, but we got some country where you can ride a good-footed horse barefooted. But I have all mine shod. Ben's there shoeing them for me, and I just keep them shod. But
yeah, it's I prefer tough enough. Don't really need
oh
it.
yeah, I imagine she's raised out there, and they know they wear them feet off. You don't even like there in Arizona, like here. You rasp a foot off and smooth it out, and then nail a shoe on. You've got an eighth to a quarter of an inch out over that shoe. You got to rasp off from the top, rasp down and clean it up. But out there in Arizona, 90% of the time, you rasp that thing off and level it and shape a shoe. There ain't nothing hanging over the shoe when you nail it on.
Yeah.
You don't have to cut nothing off then, and so makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. What I guess when you were growing up, they used a lot of those hemp ropes, didn't
Used what?
a hemp rope?
Yeah, we used glass ropes. Yeah, 100%. We used to buy them, what we call true blue silk manillas, 7/16, 600-foot coils, and just keep them on the chuck wagon. And you just cut. The man wanted a rope, while the wagon boss just cut him off one, and you had to tie your horn knot, and everybody in this country ties on, so they tie a horn knot and a hondo in it. And then when they started buying, like when I was running Wagner's, well, I'd buy 2 coils of soft lay nylon, 600-foot coils from King Ropes there in Sheridan, and furnish the ropes for everybody. And when I cut one off for the guys, well, they had to be able to tie a hondo in it and then put a rawhide burner in it and then tie my horn knot in it. And but a lot of the ranches in this country now have quit furnishing rope. Nearly all of them used to. I remember the Matador wagon kept a coil of rope on the hoodlum wagon where we could get a rope if you needed it. But a lot of them now are letting everybody furnish their own. But men are making so much more money, all these boys now. Uh, you know, I was working for Wagner's when I was running the ranch. I was a foreman and had 12,000 cows and 30 cowboys and 300 saddle horses. I was drawing $600 a month, and now a lot of these boys draw 1,800 and 2,000 a month that are cowboying here, and they furnish their own ropes.
Yeah. When that spot in Syracuse, I was able to talk the and ropes. That was the first time I've ever been able to time. Hit about 5,000 pairs. Thought we were kind of a train. Doctor
Oh, yeah.
tagged all the calves there in, and we started. They had this little cage on the side, and a farmer out calves to tag and dock. Finally, Jason, a whole bunch of king rope. It was one of the only selling points I had trying to get furniture.
Yeah, that's a kind of a drawing card, and they still a few outfits in this country. I was talking to a boy. There's a ranch that joins us down here, and they run 4,000-5,000 yearlings on wheat, and they have to doctor and rope a lot. And he'd tell me that that boss would go to town once in a while and buy 6 or 8, 10 ropes and give them to them when they got back. But because they used a lot of ropes, doctoring cattle and stuff. But most cowboys, like on a big ranch in this country, carry a 30-foot nylon, a 7/16 or a 5/16 scant soft lay nylon, and they use that for heading and heeling and dragging calves and roping horses and whipping their horse and tying one down, whatever.
Whatever
But
you might
a lot
need.
of these rodeo people or these team roping people have got special ropes for everything, and I understand that. But most cowboys that's working for a living here, there's 3 big ranches right here that runs a wagon and uses a chuck wagon some and got a bunkhouse and cowboys, and they nearly all of them carry 30-foot soft lay nylon, and they do everything they do with it.
Yeah. You out on the. You want something up those nice for a couple loops. Yeah. Out.
Yeah, one of these you can carry. One of them things depend on how much roping you're doing, and you run you run a lot of ropes in this country, dragging stuff in a trailer, roping wild stuff down there, and then you mess a rope up dragging them in a trailer. pulling it over the edge of that trailer and fray it out or something. But well, we better go to bed. It's gonna be time to get up and go here in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I sure appreciate. I know. It's always a pleasure for me.
Hell, that's good. I'm glad you enjoy it, and I hope that anybody that listens to anything we say that they, I'm sincere and really mean it. I don't embellish or something, and I don't tell wild stories just to get on the air because there's somebody here. There's two people been here just in the last few months wanting to write my life story, and I told them I didn't want to mess with it. So, but we'll talk to you in a few days.
All right. Sound. Yeah. I'll give you a call next week, and after that, I'll be down. Shake your hand finally, and I'm.
All right, and we'll see you later then.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye, Boots. Well, there we go, folks. That is all she wrote. Can't thank the guy enough. I think he's starting to enjoy it. Maybe patience. Pretty lucky man. Anybody else? Grass burning day.